Hey guys, today I'm going to make a video on how to replace your rusted out, beat up rockers on your Cherokee with a piece of 2x6 box steel tubing. So first of all, let me show you what I got here. You can see that these rockers have been pretty beat up over time. I take my Jeep off-roading quite a bit, and even though I try to avoid things, I still get some damage done. And I might try to fix this too while I'm at it. There's nothing I can do about this yet, but you can see under here it's in pretty rough shape. And here I think the passenger side is even worse. This side for some reason gets beat up quite a bit. This one is even up into my door a little bit, if you can see that. Might have a heck of a time trying to get around that chunk right there, but we'll see what we can do. You can see along here, yeah, there's a good angle. That's pretty beat up. So what I'm thinking here is I'll cut right along this seam right here, right along this line, right below the door, and then underneath I'll try to cut right before the pinch weld right here, and then we'll just see how that goes because it's pretty rusty back here, so we'll see how it goes. Also, I know a lot of people don't cut their fenders here because it mounts right under here. This is where it bolts to the body, but I don't like how it looks with this hanging out but leaving this, so I'm planning on just cutting this and then making some kind of bracket back here to keep it attached to the body still, to the inner fender. And I'm pretty sure the tire won't be getting into it. Maybe if I leave it back just a little bit more. Safety first. So I'm just going to draw a line here, just to go with this line, to follow this cut here, just so I'm not straying off course. Here we go. Nice clean cut coming right up. So we got to looking at this lip here, and my dad made a good point that since the metal's going to come out here anyways, we might as well just cut all the way back here to where this angle is. So we taped it up so we can see where to cut, and we're just going to cut this off. So here's what we got going on so far. We got the rocker cut out all the way, and we got the top part cut out. And I had wanted to do this from the beginning. Put a piece of angle iron in here to support the weight and add a little bit of structure and add a little better welding points in here. We'll just weld right in there. We already got it tacked in right now. We got the piece of steel over there ready to go. And you can see it's just tacked in right under here so far. Right here is the piece, the rocker piece. This is actually a 1/4 inch thick. A lot of people go with 3/16, but I figure might as well just go 1/4. I got it marked. I still need to angle it right there and then weld the ends back on. So down the road, I'll probably put some actual frame stiffeners in and then make some brackets that go across to give it more strength. But for now, I'm just going to do the angle iron and just take it easy. I'm not going to beat on it too hard. Just so that I don't want it smashing up into the doors. I don't want them falling off. So this is kind of a temporary solution for now, but I'll do it right later on down the road. I got it propped up there, set in place. I left a little bit of gap here because eventually I'm going to get some kind of different flares instead of just having this cut off. I'd love to get the notch custom flares, but we'll see what happens in the future. So I got my angle cut and I'm trying to decide. I've always liked how when it's angled in like this, so I might just do that. I might cut an angle here and then cap off the ends here. Here underneath I got my angle iron welded in place, and once I go to weld that in, just weld right along the seam here and it'll be nice and sturdy. So I'm sorry I didn't get a video of me making this. My phone died and took forever to charge. But I got the angles done and cut, welded, ground down, and I know there's some pitting and stuff. I'm not a professional welder, I'm just a average Joe. So this will work pretty well for what I'm doing. So I'm gonna line it up and see how well it does. So I'm really glad I decided to go with that angle. I think it looks a lot better than just having it flush with the tires. There's the back here. You can see it angles up in there. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but once it gets painted and I take some pictures and everything, it'll look a lot better. You'll be able to see. Just about to weld the slider in, but before I do that I want to show you, I made these little brackets here. They're going to butt up right here. I'll weld the bottom here and then I'll weld inside of here. There's a nice little extra bit of sheet metal here. You can see it's spot welded through here. I think that'll add just a little bit more support, just in case. I'd rather it be overdone than not done well enough, so just thought I'd show you that before I do this. I'm gonna do one right here, and then I got one up at the front there. So I went and checked everything, tack welded it in, checked everything out. It all looks fine, so let's start welding it in. So here's what we got so far. I got both sides welded in, starting to mask up everything to get it ready for paint. It's starting to rust already. This has taken me about 3 weeks of nights and weekends, couple hours here and there, so it's been pretty humid and everything's starting to rust. I'll have to wipe it down real good before I paint it, but this is what we got. You can see here I put these brackets here, welded the centers, put a couple tacks on top. And then along this seam, I just did a bunch of little spot welds all the way down. I put like one every 6 inches first, and then in between those, and then in between, and they got closer and closer together. Ground it down. Doesn't look perfect, but you know, this isn't a show Jeep. Here's my other bracket here. I have to clean up all this nasty rust. And then I decided to put another bracket at the back just because I had time and I thought it would be a little stronger. And here's underneath, if you can see it. I don't know how well you can see under there. Here we are painting now. I already put a couple of coats of primer on and a couple of coats of black satin paint, and I went ahead and the paint was coming off on here, so I went ahead and painted that too, and around the fenders they were starting to rust a little bit. So here's this side. You can see my brackets I made. I put an extra one here because the gap was a little too big for my likings, so I just fabbed up a little thing and welded it in. Another bracket there. Here's the weld along the seam. It turned out pretty good. I mean, it's almost done. Almost all painted. You can see I took my doors off. They're quick disconnect doors. You can see here's one of my hinges there. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the bottom here because it's all kind of rusty. Painted that one too. It's a little rusty too. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. So here's the final piece here. Turned out pretty good. See underneath. So let me know what you think.